talk radio show is on the air. The Treasure Coast Forum. Get interested, get educated, get involved, and give us a call with your opinions at 220-9788. And here's your host of the Treasure Coast Forum.
Hello, happy Thursday. It's Nono, your favorite, and we are back, but it's just me and
Frank
in the studio.
Right. And John is doing the spam thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's the robotics team is in Texas right now, and they're doing South Fork proud, I'm sure.
And you know what's the worst thing ever, which is going to tie us into our first segment for today?
Yeah, what is
John
that?
won't be there on the dance floor when I'm having fun at prom.
Wow.
Like, what's going on with that, right?
Right, absolutely.
Oh, well.
I could just see you dragging him onto the dance floor.
Yes.
That would be, that is a Kodak moment.
Right? I would have done it. But, oh, well, we're missing out.
Yeah.
But that's my first segment for today. I was going to talk about just basically my friends and I's version of some prom horror stories, since none of us have really been to prom before. And most importantly, how like our school these past 2 weeks has been really like drilling us hard about like safety and things like that, which I think is really funny, but also important.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know. I feel like it's bad. But us as like teenagers, we don't take it seriously because it's like
bad things always happen to other people.
No, well, actually, I didn't see it that way.
But you understand the mindset,
of course,
right?
yeah. It's not gonna happen to me. It's
Right.
gonna happen to
Somebody
some random
else.
person, a stranger out there in the
Right.
world. And then
Right.
once it does happen, it's like,
Ruh-roh.
oop. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I personally, I think it's funny where like you have like your principal that literally berates you in the hallway. Well, not berates you, but he kind of scares me. I'm gonna have to be
Call
honest.
you out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or these adults that'll like bring attention to you, and then or like you're really cool with, and then now they're like being serious, and it's like, oop, where did that switch happen? So our school like 2 weeks ago did like a mock DUI situation where the drama kids of our class got together, and like my best friend, his name is Tommy, he was like laying dead with like bloodied clothes on a car, and everybody else, they had like an audio simulation. Everybody had to go out in the stadium, and they even had a helicopter fly in. They had fire trucks come in. And then the part that was a little bit too much for me was when they brought in a funeral car and literally put my friend
hearse.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I think it was the company, what is it? Like ACOC or something?
Funeral Home.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then like they took my friend and they put him on a stretcher. First they covered him in like a body bag.
Oh yeah.
Put him in a stretcher.
Right.
And then carried him into the funeral car, and then they drove off, and I was like, this is not real. Like, it's not real. It was very jarring to see.
Right.
And they were like, guys, like,
Martin County for years would take a couple of crashed cars and park them out in front of the high school.
No. Actually, I feel like I've heard of this before. Actually.
Yeah.
No way.
That is a great, as you drive by, you see all these crashed cars, and the occupants inside didn't do well. Right. These are really crushed up cars. So it gives you a pause, let's just say. And because I know that when I graduated back in 1971, there were some high school kids that did not graduate that year. They didn't make it.
No.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it's real, and it goes on every year.
Yeah.
And awareness is, I think, a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's why, like, personally, I told my friends were like, let's like carpool, since our place is like pretty far away from here. I don't know why, but I got to drive a long way to go to prom. But I told my friends, I was like, nope, I'm driving myself, because if I got to dip, if I want to dip, I'm not going to be relying on anybody else, because you don't know who has plans for the night and who's going to be doing what.
Right.
During prom. So then it was just funny because I went around my class and I was like, okay, so what is like your nightmarish, like what would be a nightmare for you if it happened during prom on this week? My friend literally said being caught while she's on drugs. I was like,
what is wrong with you, girl?
I was like, I know like the low-key traumatic like mock DUI simulation that we like saw in front of everybody was like not real,
right?
But and it was related to alcohol, but like
Right.
drugs is like the same thing,
right? Sure, and really potentially worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, good for you.
Yeah.
Another one of my friends was being funny and was saying being caught in the dance circle, which would be John. I would make his prom horror story, So, but too bad he's not here. And then my other friend said it would be a nightmare to be bored at prom.
Yes.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Not when he's dancing with me though. So that's good.
right.
So, if any of you guys have any like funny prom stories or anything, any experiences,
give us
share,
a call.
give us advice,
Mhm.
anything. I would love to know, since this will be my first and my last prom. Since I don't think, does college have prom? I don't think they do stuff like that.
I don't think so.
Yeah. R.I.P. Anyways,
But they do have frat parties.
no, no, I am not about.
Are you going to join a fraternity?
So,
So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, let's go into that. Actually, that's a good topic.
All right, it's a good segue.
I do not think that you should pay to have friends, because sororities and fraternities are really expensive.
Are they really?
Yes, at least the ones in Florida. Like when we did tours and whatnot at the schools, they did explain how expensive it is and the monetary aspects of being a part of the Greek life, as they say. And personally, I just there's a culture that people like to keep under wraps of especially within the fraternities, is that they like to go out and sexually assault a lot of incoming students.
Not good.
And this was actually in an episode of Euphoria. I don't know if you're familiar with the show.
No.
But it's Zendaya's this is like another show that got popular because of her acting and whatnot. But there was an episode where a young black man who was in college, and he was going through an initiation for a fraternity. He's like a football player, really good kid.
Right.
And then his room gets stormed in, and he's like assaulted by like 10 dudes in this fraternity, and it was and everybody was like,
it's hazing is what they call that.
Yes. So there's a lot of just toxic culture that is not really said or covered, or nobody's really held accountable for when it comes to like people within the Greek life. And that's not to say every fraternity or sorority is like this. There are good ones, but I feel like it's too much of a risk to take, especially when I believe when you go to college, if you find the right people, you know what you want to do. I had my cousins tell me who are in college, like, you're there to get in and get out, get your degree, get your education,
keep your focus.
Exactly.
Yes.
And if you surround yourself with people like that, who needs a group like that? You're involved with your community, you volunteer, you take a part of school events and whatnot. I think it'll be just fine. That's my personal opinion on that, though.
Okay.
Yep.
All
so
right.
no
fraternity for no.
Yeah, I'm not. Okay. I'm not a party.
Not a party
I'm really
animal.
not a party animal.
All right.
Anyways, though, moving on. So there's been a lot of talk, especially at school, about this mask mandate that's been lifted on these airlines, which I thought was really interesting.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's good because I feel like we need to get past this COVID trauma.
Right.
And the biggest thing that really irritates me.
Did you read the judge's ruling and the reasoning? Because you were judicial in YIG. So
yes. I did not read the ruling, but I did read that she cited multiple reasons as to why it's not necessary anymore. And they actually said that, I think she said that the CDC was overstepping.
Correct.
And whatnot. So, and I feel like I do agree, because to a certain extent, I just want all of this.
So here's
over.
The thing.
Yeah.
The judge's ruling doesn't declare that you're not allowed to wear a mask.
Yeah.
It's just
optional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you, for whatever reasons, maybe you have your own personal health issues or whatever, you feel that you want to wear it, there's nobody stopping you, right? So go ahead, wear one if that's what you feel you need to do. But I think a lot of people
And
are
a lot of
over it,
people are
you know?
also bringing in like the fact that they said that the American Bar Association, like
The AMA.
the AMA,
Mhm.
they were saying how like she's not qualified because she only had 8 years of experience after law school and things like this, even though she was elected. I'm pretty sure Trump was the one that
Appointed
her, and
Mhm.
she's like the youngest judge to ever have been appointed before and whatnot. And they're
Mhm.
just basically saying that she has no credentials to do this. And I feel like
Yeah, but if the reason, how do you get credentials? How do you get
exactly.
credentialed? And if your reasonings are sound and they're based in judicial logic,
Mhm.
then I guess she now does have credentials,
Mhm. I
right?
think so.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just think that having the choice to wear a mask or whatnot, I think that's fine.
Right.
But I also think this is like a step forward from moving away from just like the whole entire like pandemic nonsense. Because one of the things, so our choir went to states. I think yes, this week, this month,
Right.
Tuesday actually.
Okay.
And we got excellence, which is fine, but the highest is a superior. And now personally, I work very hard in everything that I do. And one of the things that my choir teacher said, and she was just trying to like appease and like be like, guys, don't be disappointed. Like you worked really hard. And one of the things that I feel like keeps being brought up in conversation is like, oh, because you guys went through a pandemic and this is a recovery year, or you didn't have school for a year,
So
and things
they're
like this.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just
making excuses.
exactly. And I just think, COVID was hard. The pandemic was hard. Quarantine was hard.
Right.
But you cannot grow if you do not go through challenges and things like this. And I just feel as if a lot of my friends, a lot of people in my inner circle have really worked hard to overcome the challenges of the pandemic. And especially, I have friends who come from rough backgrounds, really rough backgrounds, but they are talented and they're intelligent and they go above and beyond every single day to do better. And then being faced with things such as like, oh, it's COVID, or we're still in a pandemic, or we're still. Personally, I just want to move past it.
Right.
I really do.
Yeah.
All my friends and I are like vaccinated and everything. I just like
moving on. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't think there is anything wrong with this, but that's just my personal opinion. And at the end of the day, you have a choice, and I think that's good. So my next thing, do you know what a poison pill is?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
So what is a poison pill?
The poison pill, you're talking about Elon Musk.
Haha. I don't know why I am so invested.
Yes.
In this like war. I love it.
The Twitter war.
Yes.
Okay. So the poison pill is something that a board does when they want to avoid a hostile takeover, which is essentially when you make a cash offer to buy a company and take it private. That's a hostile takeover. And so the head scratching part is, why do you form a company? So you try to form a company that you feel other people will enjoy, want, need, desire, whatever, all those reasons, just like a product. And you want to make money, right? So you have shareholders that want to make money. So people sit on the board to find ways for your product to make money. So now they're faced with a situation where they're going to make a lot more money, right? So everything in the retail world, in business world, everything's for sale for the right price.
True.
Okay. So why are they making a I'm using air quotes, a moral decision that they don't want the hostile takeover, and they put in the poison pill, and it changes the dynamics of how the monies are calculated for the value of the stock, and it makes it more expensive to do the hostile takeover. So that is the poison pill.
Oh yeah, and I think Twitter, great explanation by the way, but Twitter is just trying to implement this, and I think they're scared of how much power Elon Musk has. Honestly, I really do. I feel like
so. What is wrong about the power of truth?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Because
what is so scary about the power of truth.
I think people. Well, then if we're gonna go down a philosophical route, which I will,
I know
I
you would
think
happily go down that
yes,
route.
people are scared of being set free. I think that's what it is. Like it's almost like, oh man, I don't know how to place it, but people are almost scared of what's good for them. You know, like eat your veggies, but you don't want to. You rather have cake, things like this. So I feel like when it comes to truth,
off topic, they say more adults eat candy than children do.
No way. Are you serious?
Yes, that's one of those quirky facts. And the rationale, psychologists will tell you, is because now there's not another adult looking over their shoulder telling them they can't do something. So they kind of indulge. But
that's
anyways,
funny.
go
No,
back.
of course.
Yeah.
But when it comes to that, I just feel like I've always heard in my life, and this is within like a religious context.
Okay.
But they always say like the truth will set you free.
Yes.
Like God's word will set you free, which is the truth.
Yes.
So when we
the way,
expand
the truth,
upon
the
this,
light.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like some people are so accustomed to what they already know, or they're scared of letting go of the burdens or the hardship or whatever it may be. In this case, Twitter's so used to having all of its power, it's scared of seeing what can happen when we take this
relinquishing that power.
Exactly.
Right.
And in the relinquish of this power, there's no more censorship. There's no more blocking. And Twitter is known actually for having like a lot of these like secret niches where like links of like really illegal things are being spread around, and it's completely unmonitored. You know, it's not it is reported, but it doesn't get shut down or anything like that, while other people have their accounts banned, deleted,
right,
etc., etc. So I just feel like the power that they have, they're scared of it being turned into something completely new. And here comes Elon Musk with all this money,
right,
you know, very confident man who has a vision and likes, I think he takes control of the situation often.
Right.
And he goes after what he wants, and he has initiatives, goals, and plans. And then they're like, no, we got to stop this guy.
Right.
So I think it's pretty funny. And apparently, is it true they're going to court with it, correct? That's what's happening?
I think so. To be honest with you, I haven't been following it the last few days. I know there's kind of an ebb and flow to this whole process. So, but he seems relatively confident.
Oh, yes.
From what I can tell.
It's so funny though, because now it makes Twitter look more suspicious, in my opinion.
Yes.
Like, what do you have to hide?
Exactly.
Why put up so many obstacles?
And so think about it. So let's just take this thought down, down the path. So he buys the company and starts looking underneath the hood, so to speak. And then he sees where all the, where all the dead bodies are buried, and how the sausage is made. And they don't want that. I think that is the problem.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I mentioned earlier. Twitter has a lot of dark spaces that I've seen people talk about it on the internet. Like then people have made YouTube videos about it, and it's never gone anywhere. Never. Like apparently, I hate to say it, but Twitter has like a niche for like pedophiles where they've tried to, oh man, I don't even know what they call it, like minor attracted persons, things like this. And they try to like, it's just a whole collective group of them. And you can find it even if you look it up online.
No.
I know, no, I wouldn't either. But this is like people have talked about this, and they've talked about how like there's these spaces, like people create communities on Twitter for like things like this, and they're allowed to thrive. And it's like, why? Why? And there's so much more, even worse than that, and it's never dealt with, which is why I'm like, okay, you guys have something to hide for sure.
Right.
Which is why I'm kind of rooting for Elon.
Yeah. Well, and so it's okay to root for the truth. Right. And freedom of choice and freedom of expression and freedom of speech. And it'll be fun to see President Trump back on Twitter?
Yes.
That would be, I mean, think about how much money he made Twitter.
Oh,
for all the things that, all the whatever complaints you may have about, his style. He made them a lot of money. Bottom line, CNN, they miss him.
Rip.
Because that's when their ratings were the best. That's
Are you
where
kidding me?
I'm stone serious. They made more money complaining about him when he was president. In my view, that was their cash cow.
Oh man. Okay. Well, also, that's funny that you mentioned that, because I also had a friend say that Trump had to have been one of the most interactive presidents he's ever seen because of Twitter.
Yep.
So
he was interactive,
very, very
he never
funny.
shied away from a press conference. He would have impromptu press conferences and wasn't bashful about taking questions and having that rapport with the press corps, which is good.
Anyways, we're about to go to.
There were no bunnies to take him out of the conversation, spirit him away. Did you see that?
Yes.
On
oh
Monday?
my God! I was just about to bring that up, Mr. Frank. How do we always do this? I was going to talk about how literally that had to have been one of the craziest. Well, not craziest. I've seen some pretty crazy things.
Yeah.
But it was just one of the most random things I've ever seen to
Right.
pop up actually on Twitter.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, have context for this. It was.
We'll talk about this when we come back.
When we come back.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Stick with us. We've got a lot more to cover.
Hello and welcome back. And what we were about to talk about was how Biden was whisked away.
Yes.
By
during the egg roll, the Easter egg roll on the front lawn of the White House.
Yep.
And so
he was about to spill some like top secret news about Afghanistan, right?
Well, I forget. So a reporter shouted over the rope line and asked the question of the president, and he decided he was going to engage that individual in a conversation, which the president can do. But apparently the Easter Bunny thought better of it. And the Easter Bunny jumped in and danced around and very, very nicely redirected the president in another direction so that he would not be able to engage that press individual in conversation. So
I saw that video and I was like,
it's hilarious if it wasn't so sad.
That too. But I feel like I read it on an article, but they said that the Easter Bunny was like one of the workers or something.
Right.
I don't know, but I just think it was funny. I was like, "There's no way."
So it reminds me of I don't know if you ever watched it's a movie series called The Naked Gun.
No.
There was a detective by the name of Frank Drebin, and so in this movie, the Queen of England was at a baseball game here in the U.S. and so Frank Drebin dresses up as an umpire, and because she's at this baseball game, so and he works for police squad, and it's a special detective unit. So anyways, his job was to protect the Queen of England. But so this is a little bit like that, where so you have a Secret Service agent or such person dressed up as the Easter Bunny, but really there to protect the president.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But ooh, couldn't be me. How about that? Anyways, I want to hand things over to you because I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be WSCU,
right,
the Treasure Coast Forum, if we didn't have a space segment, right?
Okay.
So,
well, thanks to John. John is the one who gave us the. So we'll do the little audio intro. Maybe. And now, John is not here, but I will give the space report. All right. And what went on in this day? Space news. An interesting thing happened. And funny, I should use the Star Trek movie theme song because Star Trek turned into real life this past week as a NASA doctor appeared as a hologram at the International Space Station for a telemedicine visit with the astronauts on, actually, it wasn't this week, it was on October 8th, 2021, according to a recent release from NASA. So although they just released it this week, it happened last year, and it's pretty cool. And this is the whole idea is to get the astronaut corps, make sure that not only that they are physically but mentally healthy for deep space missions, such as perhaps going to Mars. So, which means you're going to be in a rocket capsule or some sort of transportation device. You're going to be there for maybe almost 8-9 months. It's a long time.
Oh yeah.
Right. So and your physical and mental well-being is very important. So that's why they decided a holographic doctor might be a solution. That way they could save on save on personnel.
Well,
yeah.
I want to insert this for just a little bit, but it wouldn't be science if there wasn't a conspiracy.
Okay.
So, how do you feel about the idea that there are already like holographic people on Earth already, such as like celebrities and whatnot? Like, how do you feel about that? Because I think it's really interesting how they decided just now to incorporate the idea of holograms in space. And
well, actually, it goes back to Star Trek many years ago during a couple of Star Trek shows. They actually had a holographic doctor on board a spaceship, and during a previous series from many years ago. So this is something that they've been thinking about for years, and so in the Star Trek iteration of this concept, in this story, the medical doctor didn't make it on board the ship before the ship got teleported into a distant part of the galaxy, and so they engaged the emergency holographic doctor, which was in part of the ship's computer programming, and this holographic doctor appeared and became a part of the show. So that was So actually, it's something that they've been thinking about for quite a while.
True, but they implemented it now, which
Yes.
is great.
Yes.
But according to these conspiracy theories, because I've
Okay.
seen it all
Okay.
over the internet.
All right.
Of course, it's the internet, so don't take it seriously.
Right.
But
Exactly.
they
It must be
say
true. I read it on the internet.
right?
Yeah.
But they say like they've taken like the souls of celebrities who have sold like their spirit to the devil or whatever, all the Illuminati, all that type of nonsense.
Right.
And instead of having the actual celebrities that we have now, it's their hologram, but they look so human that you wouldn't know. So then what if it's not like there's no doctor at all. It's just the spirit of a doctor who looks so real on these spaceships.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be. You never know.
Why are you looking at me like that? I'm just saying. You never know.
You never know.
And do you think holograms might like replace our society or like media that we consume in the future?
I think so. I don't know if it'll replace, but it'll certainly be a part of our future culture.
Oh man.
Yeah. I can vision that because I think people will probably engage in holographic movies where there'll be a character in the movie that they're watching. I can vision that.
Oh, okay. It's given like metaverse. Okay. Like where you're like very okay.
Interactive. Yep.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have any other science segments for us
There's
today?
a lot, but I thought maybe we'd move on to Disney.
Stop! No, Mr. Frank, how did you? No, how did you? Literally, my segment. Look, guys, this is what's going on with Disney. Stop! Oh my!
All right.
It is crazy how this. You have a gift.
Yeah.
That is insane. Anyways, I'll give a really brief rundown. So last week we talked about the Don't Say Gay bill, quote unquote, which is actually the Parental Rights and Education bill.
Mm-hmm.
And
it has nothing
apparently
to do with gay.
Not at all.
Right.
And what this has done actually within Florida specifically is that it's trapped the Walt Disney Company in a web of controversy ever since early March, where the Disney CEO Bob Chapek, I cannot pronounce his last name, but
he's probably going to be the outgoing CEO,
right?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. For sure. After all this nonsense, well, he initially refused to comment about the legislation, which I think was the best move. You shouldn't really talk on things, especially when it's being blown around the media like that.
Right.
But now he's saying that, now he's turned the company to like directly oppose it.
Right.
Which is now
said that they were actively going to work to overturn the bill.
Yes.
Right. The measure.
Which has come back to bite them because Ron DeSantis is now revoking their special privileges, which I think they had some tax exemptions.
Well, they had special, yes, a special, I forget what it's referred to, a special status and that was granted to them 50 years ago. And basically, they do a lot of their own governance within the Disney community, which is a lot of acreage, a lot of land. Mm-hmm. And so they supply water, sewer, electricity, police. All the things that normally municipalities would be responsible for. And in turn for that special status, I guess there's some tax abatement and things of that sort. They would provide all these services, and then the municipalities would enjoy those services without that expense. So, but the problem is they jumped into the political arena instead of just taking care of doing Disney things, which was historically, family friendly movies and theme parks and things of that sort. Mm-hmm. So, yes.
Which I think is super fun because the way this all started before they opposed the bill was that he sent letters to his employees saying that they would not take any position. And then, but he also did say that and the company affirmed and supported the LGBTQ movement and everything like that.
That's fine.
Of course. Right. But then because of the statement, Disney employees got upset and fans were speaking out, and they were arguing that the company should be able to influence the legislation, hence why they said they were going to work hard to try and overturn the bill and whatnot.
Right.
And they were, opinions got in the way, and they were saying how it was threatening young queer people in the state and whatnot. And then he apparently apologized, but it didn't come quick enough because the workers and the supporters just held protests and whatnot. And they were saying that while they appreciate his note, there's a lot more to be done and things like this. And they were saying that the Disney has to regain the trust of the community and whatnot. And this caused a whole lot of nonsense within the company. So
right.
Did you have anything to add on? Really
no,
quickly?
So you know what happened yesterday?
What happened yesterday?
The Florida Senate approved the measure to remove the special status.
Yes.
And so now it goes to the House. And once it's approved by the House, then it'll go to the governor's desk for signature.
Oh, well,
you know the drill.
Yes, I do. And you know what? It's a little bad of me, okay? But I will explain why.
Okay.
I kind of hope that Disney does learn its lesson.
I don't think they will.
I don't, but
I suspect not.
I think there will be a lot of effects, harmful, they will definitely pay a price after these ramifications or whatever, these consequences are put in place.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know, maybe it's because I was never allowed to watch Disney growing up, but I feel like the situation could have been avoided.
Yeah, absolutely could have been avoided.
And I think it all comes down to the issue of independence and research.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, if people did their research, they would know that this bill, although I think is a little bit unnecessary, it mainly focuses on parental rights rather than root and stifling anyone or bringing down anyone or pushing an agenda or anything.
Right.
But most importantly, Disney is, as we've talked about before, it's such a big and massive company, and it has a lot of influence over our culture and population today. If you talk to kids of my generation, they'll tell you about all the shows that they watched on Disney Channel when they were younger.
Right.
Not me, because I grew up watching cartoons, but a majority of kids of our generation have turned to Disney, or they know the princesses and the culture. They've been to the parks. It's a phenomenon in our country. But the biggest thing that I think Disney has failed to the people, the consumers, is representation.
Right.
Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney has gotten a lot of flags about this before. Number one, for queer baiting and racism. I'm just going to say this right now. All the movies with predominantly Black characters have been turned into animals. The characters themselves within the storyline get turned into animals. The most common two being The Princess and the Frog, where Tiana, the Black princess that everybody's known, and that's the staple of representation, she gets turned into a frog, which is why? Why can't you just have a Black person be a person?
Right.
And then as of recently, I think Soul came out maybe 2, or I don't know, but it's very recent. Soul is a movie about a Black musician who ends up dying and gets reincarnated as a cat. Why? Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So those are the two biggest that people have started to been catching on, and they're why are Black people not having proper representation within your animated movies and things like this? Most importantly, Disney has been accused of queer baiting so many times, with having characters in the background that aren't given full light or attention, of showing they're either gay, trans, this or that. And I think that is where the problem is. If people come up with research about the legislation, we would know that Disney on its own is already at fault. You don't need a bill to show this, or you don't need Disney to take a stance or anywhere. There's already proof throughout history that they're not doing a good job at supporting the communities that obviously are consuming their content and whatnot. And I think, Disney has come under fire because I think Disney now, as the company, does not know what they want to achieve. They have the power, in our today's society, we see the divide between those who embody newer ideas, newer thoughts. They want to have a lot more expression and freedom and whatnot. And then there's those who want to stay true to their values, their traditions, and their beliefs. And you know what? That is fine. All sides and everything that falls in between, they're all valid because the world is filled with all types of nuances. And people are allowed to disagree and not see eye to eye. But the power that Disney holds over our culture and the media that they produce, instead of using their art and the stories that they create and the characters that we as young individuals especially see ourselves in, instead of showing those foundational principles like respect one another, having a Black character and a Muslim character or an Asian character all interact, have different beliefs, have different backgrounds, have different opinions, see them clash, but still at the end of the day treat each other like human beings who deserve respect, or even more like just helping a neighbor not to be corrupted, holding true to your values and your beliefs, sticking up for what you think is right. Rather than showing that, I truly believe that they profit off of groups that are crying out to be seen or to be heard. So like, for example, the movie Soul came out after the rise of the Black Lives Matter, like the big crisis after George Floyd died. So, which is great, you're opening up like opportunities for Black people and whatnot, and I think that's appreciated.
Right.
But going forward, like, I know it's all performative at the end of the day. It's not real. It's not tangible.
Good word.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
yeah, it's very much so. And we have to go to break. Sorry, I spoke a little bit too over, but we're gonna wrap up this conversation.
All right.
Because I have more opinions.
Good.
Anyways,
I want to touch on Title 42 when we come back.
Okay.
All right. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, welcome back. And to wrap up these last few minutes on here in the studio and on about Disney, like I was saying before, I was basically explaining how Disney likes to take advantage of groups that wish to be seen and wish to be heard, and rather than using their power of media and whatnot to show the foundational principles that every single person should live by, which is respecting others, being kind, being able to stand up for what you believe in while also not exerting violence and things like this. They profit off of the struggles of people. It's very performative and it's not real. And at the end of the day, now they're caught in the crossfire between two sides that they lack to accurately cover. So moving forward, I hope that the shows in the future represent all types of ideals, religions, races, ethnicities, and cultures and whatnot. Not just what's hip in the moment, controversial, anything like that. And I can use an example. I don't know if you would know Mr. Frank, but back in like the early 2000s, there was a show called The Proud Family. And that was it was surrounding a young girl named Penny Proud, and it's a black family.
Okay.
And it touched on like the nuances of black culture and whatnot. And they recently did what do you call it, like a redo
Remake. Huh?
Yes, a remake. Yes,
Okay.
a remake of The Proud Family.
Okay.
And so they call it Louder and Prouder. I think that's what it's called. It's on Disney Plus. And one of the biggest things that I see in The Proud Family is that it's kind of like what it's showing. They show the culture, and they also show the principles and how they make the characters struggle and whatnot. And I feel like we need more of that. We need more representation. We need more struggle. We need more realness. Not this. At the end of the day, it's not about, oh, let's go influence the government, or let's go do this, or let's go do that, and let's be in politicals and all this type of nonsense. Disney as a company is supposed to cater to the hearts of everyone.
Right.
And represent our nation as a whole, and all of its colors, all of its issues,
right,
and all of its strides as well. So, and at the end of the day, Disney
it's
did
supposed
not
to be uplifting, and always have a good positive message.
Exactly.
Right?
They didn't have to choose sides, which I think, and I hope they, and if they had gone down this route, the route that I just outlined, had they done everything, cover all their tracks and whatnot, truly give everyone, when I mean everyone, I mean everyone, the representation that they all deserve, they would have receipts. They would show like, this is what I have done. I've covered all the nuances, all the complexities of our world. I have demonstrated how all of us can be unified despite our differences. And then they would say, okay, here, we're presented with a piece of legislation. You don't need to feel threatened by this because we're doing our part.
Right.
So if you want to make a choice, or if you want to support, if you want to consume this or that, that's their own individual choice. And at the end of the day, I just think this is another example of hive mind mentality. People just being pressured, and then now these are the consequences.
Right.
So yeah. Anyways, you wanted to talk about something else. So
yes, we want to just kind of roughly touch on this, because I think in the coming weeks we'll be talking about this some more. Unfortunately, 21 Republican states are suing the Biden administration to stop Title 42 public health order, which are now seeking a temporary restraining order to prevent any lifting of the order ahead of the May 23rd rollback date. 3 states, Arizona, Louisiana, Missouri, initially sued the Biden administration earlier this month over the move to end Title 42, which was implemented by the Trump administration in March of 2020 in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, and allows for the rapid expulsion of migrants at the border on May 23rd. So there you go.
Yeah, really quickly.
Yes.
I just want to add my thoughts. I think that's it's a little scary that was happening. Like, we were just opening up our gates, and as you mentioned before, a lot of these people are coming from like backgrounds, and our country,
they're not the healthiest.
Yes, right? And our country has already gone through a scare, and didn't COVID get to America because of some man who just got on a plane and he spread it around? I forgot.
Well, they don't really know. It could have been anything. Yes, likely. But it went to Europe. It came here. It went to Australia. It went all over the world. And
my biggest thing is that it's not really the issue that people are coming in. I feel like America really does. I think America is really, really values immigrants. I think they should, because a lot of the hard work.
Immigrants.
Yes, right. We all are. But I think a lot of the hard work that nobody wants to do is done by hardworking immigrants of this country who want to establish themselves and create good and establish their generations and provide better for the future. I really do believe that to the bottom of my heart. But when these people are coming in and they're not the healthiest and whatnot, I feel like there's not anything in place that can help them. Because I actually had a friend once, which made me think about this. And he said how it was really hard that he couldn't go to the hospital for his parents couldn't go to the hospital for certain things because they are illegal immigrants, and they are not provided what is it, health insurance?
Right.
So going to get medical care and whatnot would be hard. So I feel like if we accept this large amount of group of people, they would not have access to the medical resources that they need in order to be healthy and contribute to our society in the way that they do. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword at this case, and I don't think it's really being thought out right now. But it's interesting that they're being sued. I didn't know you could sue an administration.
Yes. Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, because the Trump administration was sued by, California and other states that didn't agree with some of the rulings that the Trump administration, had done through executive orders. So yeah. And so this is an example of the same thing.
But do these things not like follow through? I'm just curious, because what do you get out of suing an administration besides what I could think is money?
So you get a judge to put a stay on the order, just like the judge that ruled on the mask case, right, for the FAA. That was probably the culmination of a lawsuit against the FAA. Brought by, I don't know, individuals or a state. And so, yeah.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to know, because at the end of the day, America needs to, move on. Just get past these hurdles, please.
Right.
I'm going to college. I don't want to deal with anything.
So when you go to school, you're going to be able to call me up on Thursdays?
Oh my goodness, I will. I definitely will. I'll never forget.
Right.
And I'll be emailing you like every day, because you can't call me on my flip phone. As if it's like an iPhone, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
when are you going to get the flip phone?
I don't know. My parents are saying I'm so needy. I don't know if you didn't notice, but I'm not wearing my glasses.
Yeah.
Because I have contacts now. So they're like, I'm too needy. You're asking for too much. Wait. So
I did notice right away.
That's about it. All right, guys, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully John will be back with us next week.
I think so. I'm looking forward to it.
Stay safe. Have a happy Thursday, and we'll see you on the flip side.